Oregon comes up short against Washington. Final score, 36-33. The Ducks fall in Seattle. There's a lot to unpack with this one. Because if you're a Duck fan today, you hurt. You got question marks probably about what happened on fourth down yesterday a couple of times. You hate the fact you lost a rivalry game. You're wondering what's happening in the postseason now for Oregon. Like, what does this all mean for the rest of Oregon's season? What does it mean for Oregon right now? Did we learn anything new about Oregon? Do we have any question marks about Oregon? Or is business kind of as usual and maybe you just played a really good football team and the game went how it went? I got my own thoughts on this. Before we get to those, make sure you're subscribed. We appreciate all the Oregon Duck faithful that have joined the party recently. We're glad to have you here. If you have not yet subscribed to the program, we'd love to have you. Hit that subscribe button. And we talk college football, only college football every single day. So that's pretty much how we get down. We appreciate y'all in advance for being a part of this. When I look at that game yesterday, everything that we thought Oregon was going to do offensively, the edges we thought they had, like those were still very much there. Oregon ran the football for 204 yards. Like, if you had told me before the game, Oregon's running for over 200, I'd say, yep, that sounds about right. I would also have assumed that Oregon won that football game. Then you would tell me, hey, Washington ran for 99 yards, right around 100. I'd say, yep, that sounds about right. Oregon probably won that football game. So the differentiator in this game was the perimeter game of Washington was just stupid. Like Michael Penix, you got to kind of tip your hat to that guy, man. Roma Dunze, NFL wide receiver. He was a one-on-one nightmare. Like, it is what it is, man. Ran into a really talented wide receiving core and a really talented quarterback. And Oregon, their edge in that game, like I said, was the running game. They were never able to capitalize on it, never able to really gain the leverage they wanted to have because of the game flow and because of the way that quite frankly, Washington was able to score, not at will, but like pretty consistently. Like it was a consistent matching of scores from Washington. Oregon climbed back in the game after being down by 11 and they get up 4. Like it was back and forth. It was a phenomenal football game. And at the end of the day, with the back and forth and the perimeter game of Washington and the run game of Oregon and how evenly matched they were, it came down to situational football. Now this is where it's going to get, I think, a little bit controversial. I'm of the opinion that hindsight is 20/20, man. Like Dan Lanning, one of the things that you love about him if you're an Oregon fan is that he's aggressive. He swings his sword. He sticks to his guns. He goes for 2. He goes for it on fourth down. Like he plays to win football games. He does not play to stay in it till the fourth quarter. Why would you change that against Washington? He's the same guy he was against Colorado as he is against Washington, and I love that from Dan Lanning. And here's the other thing too. Everyone today is talking about, well, end of the half. Should have kicked a field goal. You only lost by 3. Hey, end of the game. If you punt it and make them go the length of the field, give yourself a chance in that game. Dan Lanning was going to win the football game. If they score at the end of the first half, if they get that first down, like you're saying, wow, gritty performance by Dan Lanning. Trusting his guys. Way to be aggressive. Way to play to win. And so you don't get to prefer the aggressive play calling and don't get to support that and then question it when it doesn't work out. You ride with your guy when he's aggressive, and when it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out sometimes. But the beautiful part about Oregon and the beautiful part about what Dan Lanning does, in my opinion, if I'm a player for Dan Lanning, I love the fact that he's believing in our offense. And you're saying, well, JD, why don't you trust the defense to go defend it? Going for it on fourth down, how is that not trusting your defense? If anything, it's saying, hey, we trust our offense to go for it. And if they don't get it, defense, we trust you just as much to stop them. I understand Dan Lanning said post-game, like, they had an explosive offense, didn't make a difference if they're going 75 or 50. But, like, I wholeheartedly believe this was a betting on his guys kind of move for Dan Lanning, offensively and defensively. And I love that. Didn't execute, didn't turn out the way you wanted it to, that's fine. That's the way this thing goes, man. You watch the tape, you regroup, and you figure out what it's going to be going forward. Like, I don't think anything less about Oregon today because of a 3-point loss to Washington at Washington. I don't. I still wholeheartedly believe that Oregon is one of the best teams in the country. I still wholeheartedly believe that they have a very legitimate chance to win the conference and to compete for a college football playoff berth. So, looking forward, I hope we get this rematch. And that's not to say I have some sort of vested interest either way. I'm saying these are the best 2 teams in the conference. I think what USC did yesterday against Notre Dame kind of proves that. These are the best 2 teams. I hope we get to see it again for the Pac-12 title. And I'll say this too, man, like for Oregon, a lot of question marks around what are they going to be in the postseason? Can they still make the playoff? Do they control their own destiny? And Dan Lanning and Bo Nix have echoed this sentiment, but I'll say it again, like what they have the rest of the way the Pac-12 is playing as a whole, which is hilarious that they're just playing so well before they turn the lights off in the conference, more or less, we're assuming. You got Utah at Utah, which will more than likely be a ranked matchup. You got USC, likely also a ranked matchup. Oregon State, also likely a ranked matchup. And then if you play Washington again, that's probably a top 10, top 5 opponent. If you win all those games and you're a one-loss conference champ in the Pac-12 and you're Oregon, I don't see a world where you get left out of the college football playoff. I don't see that being a reality. Even if it's Washington, same way. If you're a one-loss conference champ and you beat Oregon twice, you're not left out of the college football playoff either. And I know we're talking about Oregon right now, but I just want to make that statement. Like the Pac-12 is really, really good this year. And it's unfortunate this is the last year of the conference, potentially, you would imagine. But like whoever wins this conference, if it is Oregon, they will be in the dance. They will be in the dance. So I'm excited to see how they respond. If I know anything about Dan Lanning and Bo Nix, I think it'll be a pretty forceful response from them. And again, I hope we see this rematch in the Pac-12 title game because that was, one, just phenomenal product as a college football fan, and two, the best two teams in the conference from where I'm standing. So we'll see how the rest of the way plays out for both teams. But Oregon comes up just short. I don't think anything less of them today than I thought of them yesterday. Make sure you're subscribed. Ball and only ball right here every single day. Hey, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. We're going to keep this party rolling. We will see y'all next time. Hey, y'all. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also, be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.